What's up, guys? This week we talk about setting boundaries and what is acceptable with people. This is a Towel Free Podcast.
Okay, I have just like a weird question for you. It's not related to anything. So a neighbor moves in next door, like in the last couple days. So a new neighbor of mine. Who is the onus on to kickstart this relationship? Do I go to him, or does he have to come to me? Where do you stand on that?
I'm so bad at this.
Right?
I'm so bad at that because I'm focused so hard on it's. You know what? That reminds me. I was just thinking about this the other day. People who say, if you have time, if I have an hour free time on the weekend, it's literally obligated to mowing the lawn, picking the weeds, whatever fucking season Canada decided to throw at me today, organizing my yard, my kids, like everything is consuming my life 100%. So when I walk out of my front door, the last thought on my mind is like, oh, let me go talk to my neighbor. And I have the coolest neighbors on the planet.
Yeah.
So they're like always like, hey, Clint, how's it going? Like, how's work? And then I'll walk so they're really good at that. But boy, I'll tell you, like, I have no idea the answer to that.
It's a tricky one. I mean, I think in general, anytime someone is new to a neighborhood, a work environment, a team, something, the onus, I would think, is on the existing infrastructure to welcome whoever is new to the fold.
You know what? That does make sense.
If you lay it out that way,
yeah,
right? Like something that's existing because they're more vulnerable. They're new,
right?
So what's established is there, but it goes the other way too from a respect standpoint. Like you're into the neighborhood. So 2 years ago, people moved in behind me. So there's been a lot of turnover in my neighborhood. It was a previously older neighborhood, so a lot of younger couples came in. So this one couple moves in, and they have a bash, like a welcome home or a new home bash, and the music was cranked to like 2-3 in the morning. Kids couldn't sleep. Like, It was kind of shitty.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, that's a nice welcome to the neighborhood. And so I didn't say, like, I'm not the type that's going to say anything or call the cops or whatever.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, they went by every neighbor's house and brought them each a bottle of wine, apologizing for the party.
Oh, see, that's cool.
And now I'm like, now we're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're good. I was going to say,
100%.
Well, I wasn't going to say something, but I was going to kind of be, a little resentful about it. And so I think the onus was, so in that case, the onus was on them. And they introduced themselves.
Right.
So maybe that's something, maybe people could comment and we could reveal the answers next episode. Are you on team welcome? Yeah. Or on team introduce?
I'll put that on the Instagram.
Right, welcome or introduce.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because neighbors, it's a fickle thing. Like my dad was always big on like get along with them, but don't let them like take over your life. And so you can't have neighbors that you can't get rid of. Like you can't have a situation that your foot exits your door and boom, they're right there.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You can't.
I can't do it.
So I feel a neighbor is a very weird type of deal. It's not like a family member or not even like a friend.
Yeah.
It goes in waves. Like there's neighbors of mine on the other side, we're so close, but we both respect each other's space.
Yeah, because you can't be that person that wants to have a 45-minute phone, a conversation sitting on the front porch at 7:30.
Yeah.
Like I've got things to do. I've got places to go.
Well, like
you
if
have
you're
to
out
be
there,
respectful of that.
Yeah, like if you're out there barbecuing or something, and like you see each other, you have a beer or whatever. Yeah. We both have kids, so they play together. So it's good. But there's little things. If they have company over, right? We try to like not make noise. Or like I try not to bring my kids in the back. I kind of like let them like have their space.
Right.
It's kind of weird.
But I think that's kind of social rules like over everything. I used to go to this guy's office, and it would be for something quick, and it got to the point where I relished the idea to go. Is that the right word, relish or relic? No, relic is an old thing.
Relish would be like you relish, like you look forward to it.
Yeah, because the only relish I've ever used before is the shit on the hot dog bun. But
this sounds like something you were like not looking forward to.
No, it's totally. And I would be obligated to go to his office because we had to discuss business, and I would go there, and it would be like 45 minutes of me just sitting there listening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at a point, you have to understand, like, you're consuming this person's time. Like,
Yeah.
you have to have that social, like, understanding of, like, hey, this guy wants to go, and he's probably got shit to do. Let me let him go. Like,
You're making me laugh because you ever been in a scenario where someone's doing something for you and they're talking, but they stop what they're doing to talk,
you must be Italian.
right? So it's almost like someone's fixing your car and you like really need to get the car fixed. And they're like, so did you see the Leaf game last night? And then you answer their question and then they're like, and then like you catch yourself staring at them like, they're not even
doing anything.
So now I'm like, this is how much longer I'm going to be here, right? They're just, no, what are you doing? Like, don't stop working. Like, if you're constantly working and talking, it's all good.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's even a place I go to, there's like a butcher shop I go, and they all love sports. So they know that I work in sports. And I go there to get meat, and it's like a podcast. Like, my daughter's like, oh, are we going there again? Because she knows it's going to be a while. Right? Hey, who should the Leafs trade? Yeah. Hey, what do you think? Whatever. Hey, Joe, hold on. Frank, Mike's here. Come over. And then it's like this whole like long, and it's fun and it's nice. Yeah. But then I'm like looking at my watch, like, and then it's always awkward because I have to be the one to like break the conversation,
right,
and go to business.
Yeah.
So I have to like break it and be like, yeah, no, for sure. Can I get 6 mild sausages?
Can we get back onto the
it's
topic
hard to
here?
do that.
Dude, my dad was.
So that's like yappers.
He was like, he would talk to everybody, and he was like he knew everybody at Costco. He knew everybody at the gas station, like places where you just brush by people. He knew them. Yeah. He knew their name. He knew their kids. He knew everything. And I remember sitting there like, and he would once in a while he'd comment. He'd be like, "Yeah, that guy's an asshole," and it dawned on me later. I'm like, no, the guy's just busy. Like he's just because he doesn't have that same conversation. So I think there's a middle ground somewhere.
That guy only gave me 30 minutes of his free time. What a prick.
And I love my dad. Like he was well known like everywhere we went.
Yeah.
He still is. But he like everywhere he goes, he's a friendly guy and everybody loves him. But there's always that one kind of asshole that's like focused and they're not. And I feel like I've come to that point where I can probably be perceived as an asshole from time to time. Yeah. Because I'm just like, I have this to do, I have that to do, I'm so busy.
See, I'm like your dad, I'm that guy. I go everywhere and I know people and it's annoying. Because then sometimes you just can't stop talking. So I have to even be where so I get annoyed.
So what's the cutoff then? Like, what's the time limit?
I don't know. You know what? You have to read body language. You have to understand, like, you've gone over the edge.
You don't like the deadline, do you?
I don't like the deadline.
If I told you have 7 minutes,
well, it
and
depends.
You have to leave this store, would you be able to do it?
7 minutes?
Yeah.
Including the purchase?
No chance. Yeah, everything, the whole thing.
No, 7 minutes, it's like the introduction, how's your family? Well, it depends on the store, and it depends if they're with someone and if they're busy.
Yeah.
So if there's like a long line of people, so if I'm at this butcher place or I'm at whatever, and there's a bunch of people behind me, I know to be quick. Yeah. Like having worked in retail, I feel bad when I walk into a store that closes at 8 and I walk in at 7:45.
I do it all the time.
I do it all the time. I did it this week at Best Buy. But out of respect, I'm not going to go in there with 15 minutes to close and want to like redesign my kitchen. Yeah. Like there's people that they don't care. If the store is open, they take their time. Yeah. So I remember at Best Buy, like I walk in, I almost apologize. They're like, hello, sir. I'm like, I'll be quick. I'll be fast. I know where my stuff is. And they're like yelling at my kids, let's go. Move it, stop laughing. And I'll like be in a rush. So like there's a respect factor. Sure. So if someone has time, they have time. Yeah. If I like drop my car off or something like that, I just leave. Yeah. Like you just do what you got to do and I'll come back. Because then like you don't want to distract that person. But it's sort of it's an interesting topic how that goes. Because you want to be personable with people. Right. And I'm the type that I would pay more money for a better relationship than be cheap and then have no relationship or have no trust.
Right. And that's I think that's another question too, is that you could rise is, are you the type of contractor that, or business person or human being in general, do you want to be friends with the client and make them feel really good customer service wise
Yeah.
and then do your job? Or is your focus like, I'm not here to be your friend, but you're going to love this work when we're done?
Well, we had this chat in a previous episode, and I'll sort of repurpose it again. And that is from your perspective, like the balance between the customer that's never there and when you need to ask a question, they're just not around.
Yeah.
And that's tough. Or the customer that's there and never stops bloody talking to you.
Well, and like I have a guy, Tyler, and he never talks.
Yeah.
He's the quietest guy you've ever, like he comes in, he does his, and he's like a ninja. Like
Yeah.
he just leaves. Does great work. And consistently clients have commented how great he was. And I'm like, he didn't say anything. But it's because he got in and he did his job and he left. Yeah. And there's been multiple clients that probably sat there and talked him to death and he never said a word. Mm-hmm. He just kept working and doing his thing. And I think they loved him not because of his personality, but they loved him because he completed the job.
See, the chattiness, it reduces the margin for error. So from the contractor side, if you're chatty, boy, your work better be good.
Right.
Others, it's like this guy spent all day talking to me about the Leafs roster or talking to me about Marvel movies, and my backsplash looks like shit. Yeah. And conversely, it's the client. Yeah. If the client's going to be a pain in the ass, boy, they better pay on time or give a little extra. But if they're a pain in the ass on the payment side, it's like, wow, I had to deal with you, and then I had to deal with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Time.
So we're taping this episode at a different time of day than we normally do.
Yeah.
So you sort of referenced like weekday, like tell me weekday Clint versus weekend Clint.
So I'm so much more relaxed on the weekends now because I have forced myself to break from the company Saturday and Sunday. So for years, I mean like, God, it had to be like 18 years. I worked 7 days a week. I mean, I was working Christmas Eve. I was working Christmas Day. I'd go look at a job. Like, I was constantly working. And it wasn't until I even met my wife that I took a vacation at all. About 10 years ago. And I just went on like this plethora of vacations, too many. And then I came back and I'm like, okay, I need to find a middle ground. And I found that I need to just reserve weekends for my own time. If I feel like jumping on the laptop and doing a quote, I'll do it. But there's zero obligation of me Saturday and Sunday. And it's amazing, since I set that precedence, I'm relaxed on the weekend. It's like Friday's here, I'm kind of excited, even though payroll comes out. I'm still excited that Saturday and Sunday I have this time for myself. And even if it does be to choose to work on the podcast room or to work in the shop or whatever, I can do some things I like.
But you're in charge.
But I'm in charge
as
of my
opposed
own
to like
moment.
I'm stuck.
And none of the guys work on the weekends either. So I'm not getting the call, hey, this customer wanted this grout color, or what do you think about this layout? But all week I get those calls, but then Friday come 5 o'clock, it's over. It's all me time. So when you walked in today, I'm like hair slicked back, neat, like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to hit the day.
Yeah, I didn't recognize you. I thought it was like your brother or your like representative.
Like the weird evil brother that doesn't say much.
Yeah, I'm like, hi, is Clint here?
Do I need to check in at the front? Yeah, it's just like I'm in my zone, my elements, and that's how I refer to it anyway. But it's all business because all day long it's the phone ringing, the emails, and I don't get to probably 20 to 30% of the reaching out from clients or from other business connections. I don't get to 20 to 30% of them each day. So the next day I have to catch up the last 20% that I missed, and then that puts me 40% behind. So it's constantly behind until we get where we want to be. We're growth mode.
Well, here's what's relatable now during COVID times, especially with everyone working at home. There is no balance anymore. They're always, quote, logged in. Mm-hmm. So just like you say you do Monday to Friday and you break for the weekend, I think a lot of people now, it's tough. Like they're home, so you can't help but like check that email. Yeah. And I know people 8, 9, 10, 11 at night, like you're there. Mm-hmm. And, one thing I think you could, one piece of advice, if people can do it, is separate your work computer from your regular computer. Yeah. And most times you can't surf, or people don't feel comfortable surfing stuff on their work laptop or whatever anyway.
Anymore, fuck.
But if you're on your computer where your email's available and you're looking at stuff for yourself, it's too tempting, and then it's there. So I think that's one thing I've heard from people is that they've like kind of what you're saying, how you close it down on Fridays, is what people would do at the office when they would leave.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done work now for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks to be in traffic and drive and gas and have to dress up and all this sort of thing. But the flip side is that's kind of like there's no boundaries anymore.
Well, it's funny too. Like I remember thinking there's a mentality of the person that always grabs the phone. They'll be talking to you and they're, oh, sorry, I gotta get this. And they're constantly distracted. And I used to hate that and think, God, that's so annoying. Just be engaged with me in this moment. But I found that type of personality of get it done in this instant has its place. And working from home will be difficult for that type of person because they have to, like you said, you have to separate your work computer from your personal computer because something bings, you're going to handle it. And I'm the opposite personality. I'm like, no, it can wait. What's up, guys? Thanks for stopping in. I really appreciate all the likes, subscribe, follows, comments, and let me know how you feel about this episode in the comments below. You can find me on Insta, tile.freak. Instagram, @tile.freak. You know what it is. Thanks for coming in. Like, subscribe, follow, all the good stuff. And now it's time for me to get the fuck back to work.